By the end of this video, you're going to learn fully and understand fully how not responding to a debt collector lawsuit can end up doubling and eventually tripling the amount that you owe when a debt collector buys your debt, or even when an original creditor sues you for your debt. What I have right here is something that was sent to my office yesterday for an individual looking to get help with a default judgment that they had. Now, as you can see right here, the original amount of the judgment was $9,121.85. You have a sheriff fee of $45. And let me talk about the sheriff fee, how the court and the sheriff departments are actually, the sheriff departments are making money with this, is that they have a fee, number one, to serve individuals, but in some jurisdictions, the sheriffs are actually tasked to go out there and collect the money from individuals. You may not believe me on this. You could do your own research. I'm not here to convince you on anything, but I'm showing you here that there are fees that sheriffs are getting, and you could do your own research if you don't believe me about why are they getting these fees. They're getting these fees because they're actually becoming the collectors for these debt collectors who end up getting default judgments in these court from these court sessions. Now, after the sheriff fee, you see interest. Now, pay attention to what you see right there. $10,961.30 in interest. So the actual debt was only $9,121.85. You got the sheriff's fee, which is $45, and then you have interest, $10,961.30. This is actually what got me into helping people with debt collector lawsuit and default judgments and overall dealing with debt collectors. Because if you know my story, first time I was ever came in contact with a debt collector was when I did not, and I take responsibility for it, when I was 18 years old in the United States Army. That's my picture back there. I was in there for only 2 years. I got a credit card, Citibank credit card, and I was only making about $600 a month. And I believe the credit card that they gave me was probably at $100 or $150 limit on it. They're not going to give an 18-year-old who is making $600 a month per month in the United States Army in 1988. They're not going to give that individual a credit card that's thousands of dollars. No, you might build up to. I eventually got sued, and when that debt collector sued me, they came after me for $4,500. Now, it was years later, which at that time I didn't know my rights. I was in my 20s, early 20s, and just didn't know that I didn't even have to pay the debt due to statute of limitations. But let's just say that the statute of limitations had not ran out, and they sued me, and they sued me for $4,500. And the statute of limitations had ran out. But let's just go and say that the statute of limitations didn't run out. And I did eventually do a settlement on that case for $500, just in case you want to know the rest of the story on that. But I didn't even have to pay anything. And that's why I do what I do on my channel, because I want you to understand your rights. So to get back to this particular situation here, this individual, after the garnishment costs or the court cost fee of $35, this total demand of garnishment is $20,163.15. So imagine if you're staring at a garnishment for $20,163.15, and the original amount that you owed was $9,121.85, and they put 10 is coming after you, or debt collectors coming at you. Now they've incorporated that and brought the courts into it, and now they have the sheriff going out there as a debt collector collecting the money. This is stuff that I see time and time again, and why I make my videos over and over again about you have to do something when you get sued. Even if the debt is yours, which all of the debt is yours, it's just depending on if a debt collector purchases a debt, that takes it into another category. And I'll get into what you can do about those. And then if it's the original creditor, you still need to respond to that, because if you don't respond to it, you're giving up your rights. And when you give up your rights, stuff like this starts to happen, where you owe double the money. Name me any creditor that is out there that would not love to have this situation right here, where the account got charged off and then they wrote it off on their tax. They didn't discharge it. That's a totally different thing. They wrote it off, which is another legal method that they can utilize to get a write-off on money that they lent to you. But if they discharge it, then that means that they forgave the debt. So I want to make it clear. A lot of people think that when they charge off a debt or write off a debt, that they've actually discharged the debt. They have not discharged the debt. When they discharge the debt, you will receive a 1099-C, and they can only do that. You cannot force them to do that. Now, you can ask if they've done it, because the IRS is very slow about getting those documents, but they can only do that. So don't listen to other videos who claim that when they charge it off or they write it off, that the debt has been discharged. When they sell the debt, that the debt has been discharged. That is not true. And this document would not be here if that was true. The important lesson here is, if you are being sued by a debt collector, an original creditor, or a debt collector who has purchased your debt, number one goal, so you can get some breathing room, so you can get your feet under you, so you can put some pressure back on them, is to respond to that debt collector lawsuit. And by responding to that debt collector lawsuit, you can have potential outcomes of your case being dismissed. If it's done appropriately, you can have your case hearing by the judge, and the judge can dismiss it, or it can put you into a better position to have a settlement offer that doesn't look like something like this, where they've doubled the amount of money that this individual owed. So if you're being sued by a debt collector, if you have a situation like this where you already have a judgment and it was a default judgment, I want you to go to summonsmaster.com. You can upload it. Now, let me be specific. If you have a default judgment, you go to Summons Master and you contact us through Summons Master. Summons Master does not do the actual work for a default judgment. We will need to research that and put that together for you, but we can definitely help you, like we're going to help this individual. But if you're being sued at the beginning by a debt collector or an original creditor, all you have to do is put your summons into one PDF file, upload it into summonsmaster.com, choose if you're being sued by a debt collector or if you're being sued by the original creditor. How do you know if you're being sued by the original creditor or a debt collector? In the plaintiff category, if it's the company that you had business with, that's the original creditor. If it's someone like Midland, Jefferson, Portfolio, Velocity, any other debt collector, or within your summons it'll say that they purchased it or they have a bill of sale or something, then you know that it's a debt collector. So when you upload your file in the Summons Master, you choose original creditor summons response or debt collector summons response. No one in the entire world has something like this for you. You cannot mess this up. As long as you upload it as one PDF file, you had the summons documents in there. You don't even need all the statements and stuff. You just need your summons doc, and then you choose the appropriate original creditor or debt collector summons response. It will read your summons. It will put together a fully formatted response to every allegation in your summons and a defense to help you win your case based on the documentation and the attorney who filed the case against you. There is nowhere we give you back-end support where you'll get to speak to a human, and also every summons that is created with humans who will look at it to make sure that everything is right, that you didn't do anything wrong. But that's rare. But just in case, we have humans who will look at that documentation to make sure. So this is the only AI system that has human oversight. That means that every document that is created in Summons Master has human oversight. And I think that that's a good thing, because everybody else is trying to let AI take away work from people. What I'm doing is I'm allowing more people to do business with us, and I made more jobs with human oversight. Like I stepped up my employees and hired more employees. We didn't get rid of people. So this is another good. So this allows us to have more volume of people putting in documents, but then we had a human oversight, which gives jobs to the community, to our community. So go to summonsmaster.com, upload your documents, your summons documents, choose original creditor or debt collector, and it will create a fully formatted response to every allegation against you, which has to be done or you can lose by default, and a defense to help you win your case. All you have to do is print, sign, date it, get a copy to the plaintiff attorney, certified, and you get one, file it at the courthouse. And we want you to do that because we want you to be engaged. And we give you the back-end support where you can speak to us, and the human oversight to make sure that nothing went wrong during the transmission of your document. So go to summonsmaster.com. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website Youre, 3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports and all 3 scores. If you have debt collectors coming after you, you can go to summonsmaster.com and upload your debt collection letter right in there. It will scan it and create what I call an exclusive certified debt validation letter that will stop most debt collectors who bought your debt from coming after you. And if it's an original creditor, it will make the attorney who is working for them do the necessary work to allow them to come after you for that debt. And again, when you do that, it can put you into a better position for a settlement. And if you need settlement help, we also help you with that. So you're never left. We handle these situations all the way from A to Z. Everything in the middle is taken care of. Thank you for your time. Subscribe to the channel. Post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and Founder of thecreditrepairshop.com.